Okay, so CPI report is coming out very, very soon. I believe it comes out on Tuesday, US Eastern 8:30 a.m. So keep an eye out on this. I'm gonna go over Mara stock. I'm gonna go over Bitcoin because the CPI report is very, very important for a few reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and explain what I mean. I'm gonna give you guys some stuff here. I'm gonna explain everything. I'm gonna give you guys just what I am personally looking for. I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to be doing, what I will be doing, and if you guys want to see an update on the BitU trade, you'll see that tomorrow. I'll most likely make a video tomorrow because, um, you know, it's the weekend and BitU's quote will not change either way, so there's no point in showing it again. But either way, the S&P so far, S&P futures are down a little bit. It's still down. It's trading 0.46% down. I believe that's mainly due to tariff concerns. And then we have, of course, a lot of really good headlines that Bitcoin is just going up like crazy, and I think they're all just trying to create FOMO. And this is the real stuff, right? So CPI, we're waiting for the June report, which comes out now in July 15. Last update was May 2025, 2.4%. Right now, the expectations are that it will go down. And technically, we're just about at even 2%. It's trading down. It's in the trajectory to hit 2%. Exactly. And what did Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, say previously? He says he wants to continue to cut rates when we're in the trajectory. So I'm not saying he will cut rates at the end of July, but what I am saying is that we're pretty much there. It can happen soon. It could, and not tomorrow, Tuesday. So after tomorrow, we're gonna have a really, really good idea on whether or not we can actually expect a rate cut like real soon. We will see. But here is, before I actually jump into the charts and break it down, here is something I really, really want to stress out, just in my opinion, based on what I've seen in the past with these charts and the way investors and traders react um, post and pre announcement of important data, is when expectations are super high, any slight disappointment, any underwhelming, even to the slightest announcement, can easily remove capital from any asset you're looking at. That, of course, is influenced by potentially risk on asset being more attractive due to really good news. So, as easy as we saw a ton of volume, a ton of liquidity enter Bitcoin and enter Mara as well, we can see that same liquidity exit just as fast. And basically, we've seen this happen so many times in the past. So, the anticipation allows the price to go up higher. And this could be a potential sell the news event. So, here's what I'm going to give you guys three things that I'm looking for. I won't know exactly what I'm doing until tomorrow because I want to see how the first trading week of this week, when volume really kicks in, I want to see where the price is at. I want to see what the setups look like because it's very, very important to get a proper look at the price prior. And it's still a little bit too early for me to decide, but I'm going to show you guys what I am looking for. So, right now is I'm trying to figure out a way to determine that I still believe, and I said this in yesterday's video, I will not be surprised if Bitcoin hits 120k as we basically as we continue to wait for this announcement. We have one more whole trading day starting tomorrow before the announcement happens Tuesday morning, if I'm correct. So what I'm looking for is, okay, we're up quite a bit. We're up quite a bit. This next top right here, when Bitcoin made a new all-time high, it didn't really overexhaust the R side to the upside, indicating that there potentially is still room for the price to go higher. But on top of that, I want to use this swing low because this was the lower low before we started making consistent higher lows and then consistent higher highs, bringing us up to a new all-time high. So I want to use that and the overall first swing low that was super strong and it held exactly at the 0.35 extension at 105k. So before that, there's the swing high, and then bringing it down to that spot I just mentioned, it shows that Bitcoin can potentially hit 122K as a top within the discounted portion of the green fib extension. So what I am looking for first, I'm going to start off with the selling portion, right? I want to have a solid reason to sell some BitU to lock in profits, because as of right now, if the price stays flat and we start the trading week, the position should be up like $9,500. If we go up to 122K, if we try to max this area, we don't even have to hit it exactly, but if we go to like 121, 121.5K, it will still be in the premium of this area. It shows that with the momentum we have here, we can potentially stretch up into this area before potentially the bulls exhaust themselves in the short term. So that's my first option, but I want to see how if the price does that. I want to see, because I really don't want to sell BitU at all. I want to keep accumulating. I want to keep holding until we go much, much higher. I believe we can easily go somewhere between 135 to 150K. So I don't want to, but I really, really like actively managing my positions, even when the objective is to swing trade it. But if we do top out in this area, we can easily come down. So the price with this extension or this retracement, I'll just follow it higher. As of right now, this is the high. So basically, what I'm trying to do is, first option is start shaving my position, start selling a decent portion of it to lock in some profit, conserve capital, to then buy in at any weakness and continue to accumulate once again at any weakness. So locking in profit, conserving capital, and then continue to DCA it back in as Bitcoin tries to find support. Now, on top of that, we can also, if that were to happen, and we're trying to be very conservative with how we're measuring this. I'm not going to use the wicks of these candles for the most part. I'm going to try to keep it pretty much intact with the majority of the fluctuations within these bottoms. We can easily come down, and I'm going to get into this into a moment. So the first option is to shave positions, conserve capital, and DCA that capital back into Bitcoin on top of additional capital I want to add to it, right? So right now it's 50K invested. It went up. I want to at least add, besides any capital I conserve, I want to add at least another 20,000, because I do believe that any retracement, any weakness in this in Bitcoin is going to scare a lot of people out. But I want to get in because I do believe that we're going to see shallow, quick dips before the price goes up much higher, regardless of how this CPI report comes out. Now, the second option is hedging. So either I leave the position, continue to, even if it comes down, continue to DCA more capital into it to continue to build up that position, and then have a side position with like SBIT, for example, and profit off of any weakness in the price. So just to hedge the short-term drops that could happen in a sell the news event. Even if the CPI report is good, it can still have a lot of liquidity flow out of it, right? We've seen this happen in the past. Third option will be to completely just sell out of the position and re-DCA the entire amount back in, besides the profit I take out of it. Now, I don't really want to do that because I want to have BitU exposure regardless. I don't want to sell completely, so I don't really think I'm going to do that. So it's either shave some position, re-DCA the capital I reserve, or hedge the position, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. But here I'm gonna go over potential weakness. There's two pathways, right? Regardless of what this report says, we continue to see Bitcoin go much higher, and we continue to stretch higher. If this happens, I'm still gonna have exposure because I don't want to sell out of the position completely. So I'm still gonna have exposure, and if the price just pumps like crazy, I will make more profit on top of what's already listed that I showed you guys on Friday. So I'll make even more. So I'm cool with that. That's fine. The second option, or the second pathway, would be regardless if the CPI is good or bad, it it's still going to provide a really good like buying opportunity in my opinion, because any weakness is going to be quickly recovered in my opinion. Right now Bitcoin is not in a position, just in my opinion, where dips will be sustained for too long. I don't believe it's very sustainable. So what I'm looking for is the second pathway, if it comes down, would be to continue to add more. Instead of doing 5K increments at a time, do 10K increments at a time. I want to add more aggressively within it, because even though I have these retracements down here, and actually I need to move this one up, even though I have these retracements down here, and I said I'm waiting for this to happen, I'm very much now convinced, because the price kept pushing up higher. The 120 moving average is much, much higher. Any weakness will quickly drop the RSI. We can easily bounce off of, or just dip below a little bit and quickly recover off of the 120 moving average and go much, much higher. Because I said this before, now that we are within the green, we're no longer looking at 100K minimum or 100K and down lower price action. I don't believe that's going to happen anymore. So, it's going to be coming down, holding above 114.5K. I strongly believe that the price will not break below that price, and instead we'll just find support, um, shallow support, and actually go much, much higher. In the case that the price does come down below this area, I do believe it would just, you know, try to flirt with the ascending support line and then push the price higher from there. Any dip below 114.5K, in my opinion, would just not last very long. It will quickly recover out of it, and it will just shoot up like crazy and continue this, right? Because the CPI report, we're gonna see if the recent tariffs actually played a factor in it. Um, we'll see if it does. We'll find out very, very soon. But regardless, the U.S. is in a position where they really just need to print money. The U.S. government and their debt is just, it's not, they can't not go much longer, in my opinion, without a rate cut, or at least a decent rate cut soon, or at least around fall. That's just my opinion. Right now we're seeing Bitcoin pump a little bit, so we're gonna jump into Mara. But yeah, that's my opinion, guys. Both pathways lead to higher prices. Just one of them is just a temporary dip, temporary discounted prices that I personally will be taking as a strong, opportunity to purchase more Bitcoin exposure with BitU, because I'm very much convinced, and I'm not. This isn't FOMO. This isn't me being biased. It's just um, straight up what I believe, it will make sense to me. And so far, I mean, a lot of these extensions have been holding really well, and I mean, there's no reason for risk on assets not to be attractive, or as attractive as they should be real soon, right? So I believe we're gonna go much higher real soon. We'll see if we do it now, like we just continue to trend higher, or if we have a sell the news event, which won't last very long. I'll be taking advantage of it, and then we go much higher. So now with Mara, it's something very, very similar to Mara, but it's not going to trade exactly like Bitcoin. I do believe, so that we have the potential of coming down and briefly breaking into this red. It will look very bearish, in my opinion, and you know what? It can easily keep falling. If CPI is underwhelming, not as good as expected, I strongly believe this area will break. We'll be trading below $16 once again. And at that point, I believe that it would just be a really good chance to accumulate some Mara shares, because just like in Bitcoin, these sustained discounted prices cannot be held for very long, because Bitcoin is going to keep trading higher. And as Mara continues to mine more Bitcoin, it's going to reflect on their monthly reports, and it's going to reflect on their quarterly reports as well. And that would just push the price higher. I mean, the value is there, right? So basically, what I'm looking for with Mara is, regardless of what the CPI is, I truly believe Mara could come down a bit more. And at that point, I'm looking for the price too, as long as CPI is positive. Um, you know, it's just a really, really strong buying opportunity within the discounted portion between $17.5 and $18.7. I believe that's a really, really good deal. Um, but I'll be very, very careful, right? We just have to see what tomorrow's first trading day setup looks like. I'll make a video. Um, we'll see. I most likely will, but I want to see where the price is at. What we're looking at tomorrow to give a much better um, opinion, because you know Mara looks like it wants to retrace a little bit, have a little bit of a healthier retracement, set it up with the RSI properly before it can continue to trend much higher, because I do believe it has the potential of going to $20.5 before we really start seeing a lot of you know risk when it comes to how far higher we can stretch. Um, but you know, uh, I'll give you guys an update on this soon, because also this fib extension I believe should be updated. We're very, very close to that discount and premium line that I drew. I think it was last year. I think when I drew this purple line. So I mean, I do believe we can easily reach that, and I do believe that this blue needs to be updated. But I'm gonna wait for trading day tomorrow. I'm going to look at it and then give a much better opinion of something a little bit more confident, because yeah, even if Bitcoin goes up tomorrow, I do believe Mara could potentially still hold weak a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, look at the price action, and then give you guys a better opinion during market closed hours. Because I want to see, I want to see, I want to see what's up, right? I want to see what's up. And when it comes to the S&P, it being the futures being down Sunday evening, uh, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't, I really don't believe, or I would not be surprised if the S&P ends up having even a slight green day tomorrow, Monday. So we'll keep an eye. There's a lot right now. This is just a CPI reminder to be cautious. Understand that it could be a potential sell and use event of regardless of what the CPI report says. Um, but this is my opinion. And tomorrow, once we have more fluctuations with the first trading day of the week, I'll give you guys an updated opinion. And I'm very, very much excited. I'm very much excited. And Bitcoin still has a higher pathway to go. So let's see what happens, and let's see if we get a really good opportunity for a last minute, accumulation. If for some reason Monday is a weekday, the day prior to the CPI, I'll be taking advantage of it. I'm not gonna lie, I will buy. if tomorrow ends up being red before the market closes, I'll most likely buy some BitU, additional BitU, at least 5K. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully you enjoyed, and take care.